I'm sure this is my era, Craig, not the government's, because I'm sure they wouldn't say something different today than they did several weeks ago. I'm sure they'd be consistent. Because okay, first of all, tell me if I'm wrong. I was pretty clear before the election that they were saying over and over and over again, the average family would get $250. Oh, sorry, we'll get up to $250. And they about 3 weeks before the election, they thought they'd better come clean on that when, the media helped them actually spread that bullshit around for a very, very long time. But that was the number in my head. Average family, $250. I'm confused because in Nicola Willis's conversation with Jack Tame today, she said something different. And I just want to check. I'm just being fair and honest. If I've missed something or if they're talking horseshit, I don't know. So let's just have a listen to this conversation.
The people who stand to gain the most are families earning around the average household income who have children in childcare and high childcare costs. They're the ones who can get up to $150 a fortnight in a childcare payment, refunding their early childhood fees, as well as getting the impact of tax reduction, increases to the in-work tax credit, and up to $250 a fortnight.
So how many people will that be?
Now, she doesn't answer this question, but this is the thing. We know that before the election, it was only 3,000. Now, she doesn't answer the question, how many will get 250, but she does go on.
That will only be a small group, Jack. I'm advised that there will be around 19,000 households who will get more than $200 a fortnight. There's about 21,000 families who will qualify for the full $150 family boost payment. On average, an average family gets from this package $78 a fortnight.
Now, that's the bit that confuses me. Now the average family gets $78 a fortnight, whereas I thought, tell me where I've got it wrong, that before the election, the messaging was the average family would get $250 a fortnight. What have I missed? What's going on?
So you haven't missed anything, Pat. The story is before the election, the now government and then National Party was saying $250 tax cut for families per fortnight. It's going to make a real difference. Then they got caught out on that. We at the CTU did some analysis looking at what that meant, and we came up with the fact that there were actually about 3,600 households who would benefit up to $250 a fortnight. The National Party then came back and said, up to. It was always up to. So the words up to are doing a lot of heavy lifting here.
Absolutely.
In terms of this particular piece of work. So the average family would get around $78. Again, it's not entirely clear what the average is in that sense, and how you quite measure the average family. I heard you and Chewy talking about exceptional families earlier, but there's certainly no exceptional families bonus here. If you're a couple averagely earning with 2 children, your income tax changes accrue to around $1,500 a year, which is a lot less than that. If you look overall, the tax changes, they're made up primarily of the family tax, the early childhood support changes, rather than the income tax changes. So if you have children, it tends to make a really big difference. But to access those, you have to be a certain type of family. You have to have a certain level of income. Your children have to be the right age. And so the numbers of people who benefit get smaller and smaller and smaller. What we know from reporting from staff tonight, from Tova O'Brien, is that the Minister of Finance may have made a small, what's the correct phrase? She may have misspoke during that, and that actually the number of families who will be receiving $250 per year may well be less than 3,000 overall. So even smaller than claimed at the election. At the end of this, I have a small bet for you, gentlemen. Okay. I think there will be more people in the population of Foxton than there will be who actually can claim the full $250.
Hey Siri, how many people live in Foxton, New Zealand? 3,310. 3,310 people in Foxton. All right.
I think there will be fewer people. I think there'll be fewer people than live in Foxton can actually get the overall the $250. Interestingly, there's another number, which is one of the top package here says that a couple with 4 children, 2 of whom are in ECE, can claim $271 per fortnight, which is even larger than the $250 claimed. My guess is that there is not a single family in New Zealand who can qualify on that basis.
How do we find that out? If you're right, can we drill into those? Can you guys drill into those numbers?
We will,
but come back on Monday and give us an exclusive before you release it yourselves.
But because you have to be a couple with 2 school-age children and 2 children, both of whom are in ECE, with one parent earning 80,000 and the other parent earning 60,000 for an annual household income of 140,000, where you're spending $600 per fortnight on childcare.
Is there anything in there about being one of the parents needs to be left-handed, and one of the children needs to limp? Something like, is that in there as well?
I think the left-handed parent also needs to be a Taurus.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. So this is a ghost family that doesn't exist, and as a consequence, it speaks again to the honesty and the integrity in the reporting of this.
Yeah.
The other thing that springs to mind while we talk about ECE is, of course, all of this money that the government is throwing around is going to private ECE providers, and there's some enormous ones here that are very politically active. So that's good for them. They can put their rates up. And last time we spoke about this, Pat, I think you mentioned that there's some, or maybe it was someone in the chat mentioned that there's providers out there that are basically going, thank God we can put our rates up.
No, I know someone who owns a couple and was told, I phoned them to ask about what this would do, and they said, yeah, it gives us the ability to put up our fees immediately. And they weren't saying it from like a grubby, they were like, that's why the Right Family Foundation is buying them all up, because they're running at a loss and they actually have to put their fees up. And so they were looking at as a like, God, thankfully we can finally put our fees up, because the last government weren't supporting us enough. So we need either more support or the ability to put our fees up to literally survive. So that was the vibe behind it, just so people know.
So there's a real risk, much like when student allowances went up by $50 a week, that simply the rent goes up by $50 a week.
Yeah.
You make money available, suddenly, if it's available, the centres will then go, fantastic, we can survive. They'll put it up. The net benefit for households is exactly zero.
Yeah. Well, that's like giving you a $20 tax cut and then taking away free travel on buses for families with 3 or 4 kids going to school. All of a sudden you're $50 a week worse off, if not more, but you're getting $20 back a week for your tax cut. So it's like it's not like just the tax cuts, it's what else are they doing?